Coming to you from Milwaukee, Wisconsin by way of Stone Mountain, Georgia. Birthed by the great state of South Carolina is the Bryant Land Country Podcast. Your place for any and everything in hunting, fishing, sports, and outdoor related, with heavy doses of randomness, guests, and an all-around good time. Here's your host, proud Gamecock, South Carolina forever, AB3.
All right, now thank y'all for joining me this week for this week's episode of the Bryant Land Country Podcast. We got a great show this week. My guest is Darryl Moore. Darryl is a certified duck killer, if you will. This young man's passion is duck hunting. He's a Drake waterfowl expert, a Mossy Oak brand ambassador, just a few of his credentials. But the young man is out here making a name for himself and doing it out here on the Arkansas public land, which you will hear in our discussion about the challenges of being able to get duck limits on Arkansas public land. So we had a good time. We had a good conversation. Had a little bit of technical difficulties. Batteries crapped out in the middle of the interview. It's totally on me. I'm usually pretty good about checking these things before we get into the meat and potatoes of our interviews and stuff. But we had a little technical difficulty. Of course, that don't stop the party. We pick right up. Great conversation. I think you guys will enjoy it. So what we're going to do now is we'll go ahead and roll sound. I'm going to hit that record button. You guys go ahead and kick back and listen to my conversation with Darryl Moore on the Bryant Land Country Podcast.
Bryant Land.
All right, now I got Darryl Moore here with me on the Bryant Land Country Podcast. Man, rolling down the road, coming in from a hard day's work, taking the time to talk to your boy, man. I appreciate it. What's going on, man?
Oh, what you say now, man? Man, I appreciate you having me on here and talking to me, man.
Man, I've been checking you out, and you sort of like a certified duck killer, if you will. Man, you be getting after them ducks and the fish and everything down there in Arkansas. But before we get into that, because we're gonna dive into that, especially with them ducks. You are from Arkansas, born and raised, or?
Yes, yeah, man. I'm from Camden, Arkansas, which is down South Arkansas.
Okay.
So that's where I was born there, grew up there, and then I moved to Conway for college, and then I graduated this past May for UAMS, and now I am in kind of Little Rock, but I still say Camden because I go back to Camden almost every weekend. So okay. Might as well say Camden.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Congratulations on the graduation. Now, where did you say you went to school at, and what did you graduate in?
Okay, so I went to UCA. I got some prereqs done, all that jazz.
University of Central Arkansas?
Yeah, University of Central Arkansas, yeah.
Okay.
And then once I got done with that, man, I got accepted in at UAMS, and so I went there for a couple of years, and I just graduated there in May with a radiologic imaging science degree. So I do MRIs every day.
Okay. Okay.
That's what
nice.
I do, man. So.
And then UMAS, that's what Medical University of Arkansas?
Yeah, University of Arkansas for Medical Sciences.
Okay. Okay. So you still kind of Razorback at heart.
I ain't never been a Razorback now. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm an LSU Tiger fan, man. Come on now.
Okay. There's nothing wrong with that.
I love my state, but hey, I love my Tigers, man.
Okay. That's fair. I mean, as long as you straight up with it, so you can't fault you for that. Can't fault you for that, man. So like I said, I was checking out your profile and stuff, and you got a lot of stuff going on, brand ambassador for Mossy Oak, certified Drake waterfowl expert. But who got you into this thing, man? Did you grow up hunting and fishing down there in Arkansas, or who took you out the first time?
Man, so where it kind of all started. It started when I was young, man. So my dad, he don't really hunt. He's a golfer. He loves to play golf.
Nice.
And I played golf. I played all sports, but my grandpa, my mom's really my mom's stepdad, but my grandpa, because both her real dad and her stepdad were like, both my grandpas. Man, he's a big fisherman hunter, and he knew it's like one of those things, you just love it. When I was a little kid, he took me and we went fishing one day down a little bay in Hampton, Arkansas, and man, I caught my first fish, and it was like I was just hooked. I mean, I was loving the outdoors, man. We'd go fishing every Saturday, man. I would sit there and I would sleep. That's how I was. I would sleep in his recliner, so to make sure that when he woke up on Saturday morning, he didn't leave me when he went fishing.
Wow. So you saying make sure he can't pass by you, huh?
Yeah, because he's sitting in his recliner every morning to get ready, so he had to get me up,
right. In order to sit down.
Yeah.
funny.
And so he got me started on the fishing, and man, I love to fish. And then as far as hunting, he bought me my first gun. We went deer hunting, and man, I coon hunt some quite a bit, and hog hunt, all that with some of my buddies. But man, the duck hunting, which is probably like between duck hunting and catching fish, probably my two favorite things in the whole world.
Right.
So the duck hunting, two of my buddies, Dawson Lambert and Kyle Jones, man, they asked me, come on, man, let's go duck hunting. Come on, go duck hunting with us. And for years, or not years, but like a year or two, they were asking me, and I was like, man, I'm not going to stay in no cold water early in the morning. I'm just not going to do it. It's like, what fun is that? I'm not going to lie to you. I was dead set that was the stupidest thing in the world.
Now, how old were you when this was going on?
I was probably about 16.
Okay, so in high school.
Yeah, high school. And I was like, man, I'm not going to stay in go cold water. We would go to practice, whatever. And Kyle would be like, man, let's go, trying to convince me. And finally one morning or one evening after we got done, I forgot exactly what we were doing. I was like, all right, let's go in the morning. I'll go,
Mm-hmm.
And so I met him, and we went to Kyle's deer lease on like a wood duck hunt,
Right.
Quick, wood duck hunts only last 30 minutes. And so we go and
get in and get out.
Yeah, I wasn't prepared. Like, I'm cold, man. Like, I was not prepared at this at all. And these wood ducks come in, and like my heart just started like beating out my chest, and they're like coming in, and they just come in and sit in the decoys, and they mop up on her. I'm sitting there froze. I couldn't even click my trigger off. I'm like, oh, what is this? And it was like from then on, it was just like an addiction. Like, it was just one of those things. Like, I just fell in love immediately, and it's like been since then. I've like studied it, and I love it.
No, at 16, like you say, you going out there, you cold, you freezing. So obviously you ain't got. Where'd you get your waders from? Did you even have waders at that
so
age?
Yeah, they let me borrow some waders, man. So they had some waders for me. I had a shotgun. My grandpa, my papa LaBelle, he gave me a shotgun. He gave me a shotgun that I used like squirrel hunt stuff with. So it was like an old Remington 1100, shoot 2 3/4. Man, I'm out there with 7 shots. They got like 2 shots just knocking these birds down. They just bouncing off the birds when I shoot. I'm like, man, hold on.
Nah, for people that's listening, the shot size, now when you hunt ducks, most people usually use either 2s, 4s, and those numbers are the sizes for the shot pellet. So if you out there, you talking about like a 7, that is a very, very small pellet. So you basically... You ain't even peppering them. Those are probably like bouncing off of them, depending on how fast they flying.
Yeah, them ducks just kind of like, what is that, man? Come on, what you got going?
That is awesome. So
I went, because the thing, 16, you ain't got no whole lot of money.
I
went to Walmart. They say you gotta have steel shot. I was like, oh, these $5. This is what I'm talking about.
Right. You're just trying to get in the game. This is as authentic as it gets. This is before, all your great, insulated waders and your coats and all this other stuff. You 16, you out with your buddies, y'all just trying to get in the game.
Yeah. And man, I'm pretty sure if I remember right, the waders was leaking too, the ones that gave me. So I got the
of course
whole
they
shaft.
was leaking. They not gonna give you the good pair of waders. Like, here, man, throw these on. Let's go. Come on.
They'll be all right. I promise, man.
Man, That's what's up. So, okay, so 16, you out hunting, you duck hunting, you fishing. Let's fast forward a little bit now. Are you fishing competitively, or are you just fishing just strictly for the love, or?
Man, it was more like 16 to really more recently. I just fished out of the love, man. I would go almost every day. It's like one of those things where like I get off work, because summer jobs or college class, man, I just go to the water. I can sit out there all day, and now I love to brim fish.
Yeah.
And so I go out there, and man, I'd brim fish. I'd go out there, and I just sit there and just wear some fish out. And now I like the bass fish. I love the bass fish. And so more recently, it's become more like it was like, man, I love to fish. I feel like I'm pretty good at it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, why not try to go professional with it? I love to fish. I love watching the tournaments.
Right.
I'm a competitive person. I play sports since I was like, I don't know, 4 or 5.
Okay.
And so I'm really competitive in general. And so it's like, man, why not go and compete against some of the best,
That's
And
what's
so,
up.
so it's just kind of lately, it's like I've been transitioning. I fished a few tournaments here and there, all throughout. Then it's like, it's like I've really gotten that real mode where I've really like sat down and focused a lot of my time and energy and just get my skills right. Because, nobody wants to go out there and just get whooped. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's part of the game. It's going to happen. But it's like this past year, I've really been focusing on, all right, let me see what I'm weak at. And like I got videos on my social media where like, man, I'll sit in the house now and I'll just grab a rod. And I love to flip. I like to fish shallow, but I've never been like an accurate flipper. I can put it over there, but I couldn't get it on spots. And man, I got videos on my social media where I get like coffee cups and I'll just sit in my living room, watching TV and sit there and flip. I'll flip in a cup 100 times.
Now,
just trying to make sure I'm getting it accurate.
When you saying flipper, what's that? Explain to the folks what you talking about when you doing that.
So like flipping, basically what you're doing is like, it's like a real precise cast. So what you're doing is you're like taking your bait and you're grabbing your hand. It's almost like you're just like underhand tossing it, but but you're trying to put it right in the spot, like a soft fall. So let's say a fish is on a bed, right?
Yep.
A bass is on a bed. You don't want to throw out there overhand or sidearm and splash real hard on that fish. You want to pitch, you want to pitch or flip right there on that fish real soft. Just let that bait kind of hit the water kind of soft and flutter down on it. You don't want to spook her, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so,
right.
So a lot of people are thinking, man, that's easy. I can go out there and flip, but it's not like flipping with accuracy is a lot harder than what most people generally think about. You know what I'm saying?
It's almost like skipping rocks. Like people go out there and you try to like skip rocks on the water. I know I could never do it. Like I throw a rock and it'll sink to the bottom. Like I could never, no matter what size or whatever. But it's just like anything, especially if you're talking about doing it competitively, you got to work on your skills. You got to practice. You got to get better before you can go out there.
Correct. And, that's one of the things, So, like, I say this year with my fishing, I've learned a lot. I fished the co-angler a lot this year. And, because the co-angler is a good start because you're getting that full guys that are serious about the tournaments, but you're in the back of the boat so you can learn. You can kind of see what it's like and be like, oh, okay, and you see how good different guys are and kind of judge where you're at to see if you need to go boater. You know what I'm saying?
Now,
because when you go boater,
is that like an apprentice kind of thing where you like on the boat with somebody that's competitively fishing and you just kind of like watching them and like being an apprentice?
So basically how the co-anglers work, you're fishing the tournament, but you're only fishing against the guys in the back of all the other boats.
Okay.
So the guys in the front of boats are technically the pros.
Okay.
And the guys in the back of the boats are the co-anglers. So you're only fishing against the other co-anglers. But the pros have all the control. The pros pick your spots and all that. And you're just kind of in the back of the boat just fishing behind them or, whatever.
Gotcha. Kind of like a tag along.
It's a good way. Yeah, you're like a tag along. It's kind of like an honor system they do to make sure that the pro not cheating and you get an opportunity to fish and, and get your name out there and get your tournament experience too.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So it's really cool. It's an experience, that if you're going to competitively fish, I think everybody should do is fish the co-angler.
Now, how did you get hooked up with that? Like when you go to the tournament and sign up, do they like assign you with someone or do you already go or?
So you pay your membership and then from there you pay your membership up front, just like I think like $75. and then you sign up for the tournament. You have to sign up like like a couple weeks in advance, and then once you get to the tournament, you're a co-angler. You can link, which gives you a guaranteed spot with the pro. Like you just put on Facebook, hey, I need a link on the group, and somebody be like, hey man, let's link, and that gives you a guaranteed spot. And so the day before the tournament, they'll have a pre-meeting, and what they do is they'll send out a text, and it's randomly drawn, and they'll tell you who your boater is, and then from there, your boater will call you, like, hey man, we're fishing together, meet me at the ramp at this time, and then your boater will tell you, hey man, I'm on some fish, or this is what I found is working. And so this is what we're probably going to do all day. And then you get your tackle ready. The next morning, you meet up with your boater. Y'all talk. You put your poles and whatever you got to bring in there. And then y'all just go fish for the day.
Okay. Now, when you fish in them tournaments like that, you were talking about golf. And I know the little bit that I know about golf, because I'm not a big golfer at all. But the little bit that I know everybody has different tee times when they're especially in a tournament. So, your tee time, one guy's tee time may be this, another guy's tee time is that. When you're fishing those tournaments, do they launch at different times, or everybody just kind of goes and then returns at the same time? Like, how does that work?
So it's kind of like golf. You have flights. And so basically everybody has to be there at the start of the tournament. So most time the takeoff, somewhere between 6:30, 7 o'clock. That's a good rough estimate of what time you're going to take off usually.
Right.
Depending on the time of year. So everybody has to be there by then, and you launch your boats, and then they'll be like, first flight's going to be boats 1 through 45. And they'll call out boat number 1, boat number 2, so and so on. And they'll send you out. So flight number 1 might have to be back at 3 o'clock, right? Mm-hmm, and so then as soon as flight number 1 takes off, they go ahead and they roll into flight number 2. It takes about 15 minutes for the first flight to get out and go.
Right.
And so then they roll to flight 2. They'll be like, well, flight 2, y'all got to be back at 3:15. They'll let all flight 2 go. And then it goes flight 3, same thing. Y'all be back at 3:30. So it's like everybody has flights, so you take off all at once, but it's kind of all different times. That makes sense.
Gotcha. Now, in those tournaments, well, 2 things. First of all, what would you say the number one thing that you would have to have in order to be successful to fish competitively? Like, what's the one thing that you feel like, I got to work on this, and then I can, that'll pretty much put me where I need to be? Or is it more than just one thing?
Man, honestly, it's more than one thing. I think there's a couple really key things to it. One, for me personally, I think the number one thing is I'll say 2 things. Number one is confidence and patience, because you'll get thrown off. You hear people before the tournaments talking about, man, they're biting on this, man. You gotta be throwing this. You gotta be fishing deep to win. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And that if you went out there and you pre-fished and you know what you've done to catch them, and you know what you got a pattern figured out, that'll start bugging your head. Like when you first get there, the first 15 minutes, if nothing's working, you're like, man, they were talking about fishing deep and they're catching them deep, and I'm up here flipping up shallow. Right. And so it's one of those things that you got to be prepared to, like, you got to go in there like, I'm gonna do what I know I've been catching them in practice. Like this is what's working. This is what I'm gonna stick to my guns. But at the same time, you got to be level-headed enough to know that after a couple hours, if what you're doing is not working, to be open to try. Because fishing, it changes. I mean, throughout the day, it changes. It can change in a heartbeat.
Yes.
So you also got to be patient enough to know that when it's not working out, that the fish can turn on at any time. You might have to change up the way you approach the game. You know what I'm saying? You might be watching a guy fishing 40 yards from you, sitting there wearing him out, and you ain't caught a fish, and that kind of gets to you. Like B-Lat says, adversity is dope. So you got to go with it. You got to be able to roll with the flow and just stay calm. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because I mean, you're not going to win every tournament. You're not going to catch every fish in the world, but you got to be consistent. So consistency is the next thing that's really important with fishing. You got to be consistent.
Yeah. But the patience and consistency, actually, it transfers into so many different areas of hunting. Like whatever you hunting is that patience. Whether it's turkey hunting, whether it's like ducks or especially deer. I mean, that patience aspect, it just carries from one, type of hunt to another. And if you can can get patience down. Because I know for me, that was the hardest thing. Like when I started hunting, I started hunting late in life, and being on the go and all that stuff. Like patience is probably like one of my biggest like attributes that I don't really have, that I'm always working on. But I tell you, hunting, especially deer hunting, I mean, it will humble you. And if you don't learn patience, then you ain't gonna be too long for it.
Yeah.
So the patience thing, man, I can relate to that.
Yeah, and
So,
like I said, I feel like that's across the board. It's kind of whatever you do. I mean, if it's fishing, if it's hunting, if it's work, if it's anything, family, everything is consistency and patience. I mean, it's just, and I feel like for me personally, I'm a person like I look at when I do something, I always like, man, I'm always like, I rush. I'm like, I got to figure this out, And
right.
so for me, fishing and hunting always makes me slow down and like respect that, like I don't have any control of this. Like I just got to sit back and let the game play out and just go with the flow. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And
Exactly.
I feel like that's like, it's a lot of life lessons. Like when I was in college, it's always like, man, I want to be able to do this. When I was in college, I always wanted to fish tournaments, but focusing on college, I couldn't afford to fish tournaments. I mean, it's just to be able to, I mean, I worked through college to, help pay for stuff I do like gas, etc. But I couldn't go fork out $200 on a weekend and fish a tournament. And that's kind of frustrating for me because, I mean, that's what I wanted to do, but I can't afford it. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so it kind of, it kind of teaches you, like just take your time because you can't control the tournaments. You can't control life. Just get your books done. And once you get your books done, you can do whatever you want. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Would you say like your ultimate goal would be to fish professionally, like full time, like, or do you still want to pursue like a career in your field?
Honestly, my end goal would be to be able to fish like full time professionally.
Okay.
To do that and to be able to have the winters off and just hunt. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Whether it be maybe like guiding or whatever. But if one worked out where I was like doing professional fishing, then I get to hunt all winter, and I could guide for duck hunting or whatnot.
Right.
Everything's making money, which obviously I do. I love my job, but if I could quit it tomorrow to go fish professionally, I would do it in a heartbeat. There's no question about that.
Right. No, I hear you. Sure. I mean, that is the ultimate goal. Like, it's to be able, especially if you love it, to be able to do it professionally and get paid, and then, like you say, you can have the winters off to duck hunt and just enjoy it and be making a living. In the outdoors. I think for a lot of people, that's ultimately, what they want to do. So it sounds like, you're on the right track. Now, let me ask you this before we switch over. I saw a couple of pictures where you was working with a bow and you was shooting the bow and whatnot. What happened with the bow hunt? Do you bow hunt still, or you kind of like did you kind of fall back on it, or what?
Well, I realized when I was gonna start doing the bow hunting, I was like, man, I'm gonna do it because I'm one of those outdoors. I want to do some of everything. I love every part of the outdoors.
Sure.
And I got to where it was like, okay, if I'm gonna be, to me, I want to be. If I do something, I want to be excel at it. I want to be good. I want to be able to put my time in it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so when I started looking at the bow hunting, I had to kind of, at the point in my life, I wasn't all the way graduating college yet, so I still I didn't have very much money at the time, and so it was like, I got too many hobbies. Like, do you want to be really good? Do you want to be really good at what you got, or you want to be mediocre and have everything? You know what I'm saying? And so it was like I deer hunt now with a rifle, and I only go like 3 or 4 times a year, and I go shoot the first thing that walks out. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah. Well,
and so it's kind of was like, man, there's nothing to make me want to go out there and sit for 30 or 40 days when I could be fishing those 30 or 40 days, get some fall fishing in. And, in Arkansas, duck season usually starts the Saturday after opening day of gun season, or 2 weeks. And, up to then, I'm not really going to hunt. So it was like, man, you just kind of choose. Like, I don't have the time or the money really to sit there and to get really good at bow hunting.
Gotcha. No, that's totally fair, because it's funny. Like, this year, I kind of having a come to Jesus moment with myself. It's like, okay, I really enjoy bow hunting. And, my first couple of years I got lucky. It's like, okay, you kill a nice deer or kill, like a nice doe or whatever. And it's like, all right, I'm good. I kind of got it out of my system. And then I can go goose hunt and duck hunt. Like, because, like we were talking last night, the goose season starts like in October. So it's like I got my deer down in mid to late September in the early season. It's like, oh, I can go goose hunt, duck hunt, in October up in Illinois, and then come back for the rut or whatever in November. But last couple of years, it's taking some time to get that deer down. And I'm like, well, shoot, this is cutting into my duck hunting time. And it's like, so you kind of gotta, it's like you said, it's like, okay, do you really want to be a really, really good bow hunter, which is what I love. Like, I love bow hunting. Duck hunting, that's a lot of it. From my standpoint, I think it takes a lot more to be a really good duck hunter than it does a really good deer bow hunter. From the standpoint of, you don't need as much equipment. I mean, of course, you got to work on like your shooting and stuff, but it's also a lot easier to shoot a bow and get good at it than shooting clays and shooting targets to hone your shooting skills, unless you just have like a bunch of property or you out like in the country somewhere. But so, I mean, I could be wrong, but that's kind of where I'm at with it. So that I totally feel you when you say, it's like, all right, which one do I want to be really good, or do I want to be like kind of half and half at everything? But I'm like you. I enjoy it all. I enjoy deer hunting. I enjoy turkey hunting, enjoy fishing, enjoy, getting after ducks and geese and stuff. So any day outdoors is a good day. It beats, being in an office or being, working or anything like that. So
for sure. And I agree with you. Like, I have respect for people with bow hunting, because it is hard. I've seen my buddies, they'll go out there for 2-3 weeks straight, and and I know how hard bow hunting is.
Right.
And bow hunting or turkey hunting, I got a cousin that, he absolutely loves turkey hunting, and I don't think he killed a turkey, but he went like probably 10, 12 times and didn't kill a turkey, but he loves it. I mean, I know it's hard. It's a hard game. I mean, all of them are hard games, but you know what I mean?
But yeah, the turkey hunting is a little bit more I think that's what draws a lot of people to turkey hunting. It's a little more interactive. It was funny because I was talking to a guy that I used to go goose hunting with. And he's like you, like he's all about geese and ducks. He'll go to Arkansas, he'll go to South Dakota or North Dakota, he'll go to Kansas. Like, he kind of maps out his entire year, and then he runs a fishing charter during the summer. And then once his fishing charter's done, then he guides, geese and duck hunts all over. And I was talking to him one time, and then I said, Brian, what? I said, do you deer hunt? He was like, no. He was like, I don't have the patience for it. He was like, we can sit here in the blind, we can talk, we can have a good time. It's like, you get some geese coming in, then you go to work or whatever. But he was like, deer hunt, you got to be real quiet, you got to be real still. He's like, that's not my cup of tea. And if he's one of those guys, like, he's not a chatterbox, but he's one of those guys that if you get in a good, engaging conversation, it's like you're having a good time in the pit until, until some action comes. So I totally get it. I totally get it. So let's talk about these ducks.
You talking about my love.
16 leaky waders, 7-shot, 2 3/4 shells, to Drake waterfowl expert, Mossy Oak ambassador. God, I can't even talk about. You know what an ambassador is. So now, and then when I talked to you, you were just coming back from Oklahoma. So how do you do your duck season? Like, do you have it mapped out, or you just kind of like go with the flow? Like, how does your duck season start?
I'm gonna tell you what I tell everybody when they ask me, like, how do I get ready for duck season? It's one of those, duck hunting is one of those things you literally got to go with the flow. You can't map them out. It changes every single day, every single year. Nothing is ever the same when it comes to duck hunting. I kid you not. That's what I love about it, duck hunting, because it's like you can go, and we kind of talked about it last night when I was telling you kind of how my duck season goes. You can go duck hunting, and we can get a group of guys, and we can go out there and we can kill 9 limits on public land.
Yep.
One day we shoot 9 limits. We could come back, everything be the exact same, and the wind may have shifted 1 mile an hour from north to south, and we can be in that same hole and not shoot a single bird. And it's
Right.
crazy. That's what drives you so crazy. Is trying to figure out where you got to be to kill birds every single time you go. You know what I mean?
Right.
And for me to be a successful duck hunter, you literally got to be able to go on the flow for public land, at least. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And see, that was what I was going to get into, because public land. And for people that don't know, to do anything on public land is a chore, because you don't have, again, you don't have any control. I think that's kind of why I haven't really fooled with it too much, because a lot of things that you could control on private land is out of your control. When you duck hunting, you can get to a spot. You can go all summer or go, in the fall, scout before duck season, scout it out. Oh man, I got this whole show up at 4 or at 3, and somebody else is already sleeping their boat that's been there overnight that came in and took that spot, and there's nothing you can really do about it because it's public land. It's everybody's.
Yeah.
So how have you managed to be so successful on public land?
A lot of sleeping in the truck and sleeping at ramps. And honestly, having some good friends.
So you're the guy that sleep in his boat in the duck hole overnight.
Well, in Arkansas, we got the 4 a.m. rule.
Okay.
And so I'll explain that real quick for people who don't know. In Arkansas, on public land, most of the WMAs and a lot of the refuges, you can't leave. Let's say we're at, for instance, one of the most popular places everybody knows, Bayou Meta. You can have your boat in the water up to the gates. They got gates in now, but you can't go through that gate until 4 a.m. or you get a ticket. A ticket you ain't trying to pay. And so,
okay.
But you can't launch your boat till 2 o'clock. So you can't get in line till 2, but you can't go to the gate till 4 o'clock. We've gotten there. I've gotten there before. I rolled up there at 11 o'clock one day, just because we wanted to be the first ones in line. You know what I mean?
11 o'clock at night.
11 p.m. and we can't take off to 4 a.m. We can't lunch to 2.
Wow.
We're sitting there at 11. Back down the ramp, just waiting to put the boat in the water. And 2 a.m. comes, you launch your boat, throw the dog, throw your stuff in there, and then we go down there and we sit on the bank next to the gate. And you wait till like 3:57. About 3:57, now there's a bunch of people there. There's ain't no telling on them. On a Saturday, it's gonna be a bunch of boats. It might be 40, 50 boats. And so 3:57, everybody's pushing their boat off and waiting at the gate. And when I say it turned 4 a.m., it's roll time. Is at 4 o'clock. It's go time. Like light bars on, motors, 2 strokes, just rolling. Everybody heading out, and you get out there at 4:15, and now you got a 2-hour wait till daytime so you can shoot.
Right. Yep.
And the thing about the Arkansas public land is you can get there at 4. You can get there at 10 o'clock at night. You can sit there. You can be in line anywhere. Let's say you're at any refuge, and at 4 o'clock, if your stuff ain't right, you might not get your hole. That's just the facts of Arkansas public land. Like. You better be rolling when it's time to go. Right. Because ain't nobody gonna wait up on you. They don't care if you've been there since 7 o'clock the night before, 5 o'clock the night before. At 4 a.m. you ain't got friends no more except who hunting with you.
So you ain't got.
You want me to be brutally honest? If you want to be honest with you, right. When it turned 4 o'clock, you ain't got no friends no more. I promise you.
That is hilarious.
If your motor stopped down there in the middle of the canal, you better get to the side, because ain't nobody finna just stop and see what's wrong.
Man. So, all right. So you get in, and then you get to the hole that's on public land in Arkansas. Where else are you going? Like, are you traveling and you hit Louisiana? Do you hit Texas, Oklahoma? Like, what? I know you gotta, like you say, you gotta be kind of flexible. So, what are you hitting other states as well, or are you just concentrating on Arkansas?
Man, for me, because I mean, Arkansas is the duck capital of the world. For people that don't know, it's
Right.
we have, it's the place. It's this where everybody comes to. But like I said, this past weekend we went to Oklahoma. I got invited up there with a buddy, Caleb, and it was my first time in Oklahoma, honestly. And it was such a shock because like I said, Arkansas, its public land is like everybody loves it. Oklahoma, there was like 3 boats there. I'm like, what is this? You know what I mean? Where's somebody at? Where's somebody lining up? It's time to go at 4, and it's like nobody's there, and it was so different. It was like just a whole nother atmosphere. It was like chill. I mean, we're going just, they're not in no big hurry. We just easing out across there, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, man, this is so different. It's so relaxing kind of,
Right.
And so, we went to Oklahoma this past weekend and we killed them. I mean, we shot our limits both days. And then this weekend, we rolling out Friday. My buddy Renard from Georgia, 24/7 Hunts. We're meeting in Texas and with our buddy Zane, and we're going to be hunting in Texas this weekend.
Okay.
And we're kind of stretching our horizon. We're meeting people. We're traveling more. Next year, we're going to Canada. We're going to go Canada, South Dakota, Missouri, Oklahoma, Texas. We're to all of them next year.
Nice.
But we mostly focus on Arkansas. When it gets like that 3rd week in November, unless it's just terrible, then we'll move. But mostly we focus on the Arkansas timber because, I mean, there's nowhere in the world where you can go and sit down in timber and get ducks just in your face.
Right.
I mean, it's just nowhere else. And there's nothing else that compares to it, in my opinion.
That's the experience that I'm looking for. I haven't quite had yet because the last year I went to Arkansas, it was basically flooded rice fields. First time I went, we were in layout blinds, and it was basically like a flooded rice field or flooded grain field or whatever. And it was great. It was amazing. The last 2 times like I said, those were my first 2 times going. I've never been, and I kind of try to make it a point to finish up my, waterfowl hunting in Arkansas. Unfortunately, when I went, it was usually it was the week. Basically, it was the last week because it closed on that weekend, like that Saturday. So it was the last week.
Yeah.
Just, for whatever reason, I couldn't get down there like in November or December or whatever. I'm going to try, see how my schedule shakes out. I'm going to try to go because I've gotten an invitation to come down there like early. And I got an invitation to come down there in January as well, like I normally do. So I want to do the flooded timber because I've heard so much about it. What I know from my experience, like I said, doing layout blinds, being in the flooded field, to me that was awesome. The flooded timber, just kind of explain what that is and what all goes into that.
So flooded timber, for people that don't know that are listening, is basically you got your oaks, your oak trees, and they're flooded. They're the good hardwood bottoms of Arkansas. And I mean, the hunting in the woods is like, I don't know how to explain what it does, but in a field, you see ducks coming in the field, you're like, okay, they can land out here in the opening.
Right. But
the thing about when you get in the woods and the timber, you get these holes, and what everybody loves is you get a group of, let's say 50 to 100 mallards working, right? You calling at them, you working them, and they circling, and you're looking, and all these branches are hanging over this hole. There might be like just a little bitty gap. And next thing you know, you hear these wings just start flopping. They lock up and they put the orange feet down and
put down the landing gear.
They put the landing gear on, and you're looking, you're like, there ain't no way. And next thing you know, you just see the wings. I mean, they're just dipping and dodging. You're hearing branches cracking and everything, and all of a sudden, you got 50 or 100 mallards just breaking through the trees, just landing 5-10 yards from me. And you're just sitting there and how'd they just do that?
Right.
And they get there between the trees. When they get between those trees and they get below those trees, it's over with. I
was about to say, because it's not like
a fence.
It's not like in the open field where like if
Maybe
you
just get out.
flinch or if you can like if you do something wrong and they flare, it's like they can kind of like pull up and then they got an unobstructed escape. Once you
Yeah.
get into the timber, like just going off of what you said, like you said with the branches and everything, it's kind of hard to just pull up and then shoot out because you got it's almost like they trapped.
Yeah. Once they break the trees, it's game time. Once they break the trees, it's player mode. Then it's like everybody, your heart beating out your chest. It's like, oh my God, let's get it. Somebody gonna call the shot. They're gonna say kill them. We're gonna get them low as we can. Because they will. Sometimes they'll get down there and break the trees. When they break trees, they'll pick up. Once they break trees, they start picking up. You got to cut them. But most of the time, once they break the trees, you're going to count that money. They coming all the way down. And I mean, that's what it is. I mean, it's just like, because when you're in the timber, you ain't going to get, it's not no 50, 60, 70, 80-yard shots,
Right.
When they get below that treetop, you're looking at like a 25-yard shot. Those ducks are in your face, and it's just watching, interacting with them and getting them to come in there like holes. Like it might not even be a gap, and all of a sudden they just in there. And it's just
with them that close. Two things with them that close. You first of all, are you using mostly like a modified choke, like a little bit of open choke, or are you going with a straight like full and just picking them off?
Man, for me, I like a full choke. I don't like cripples.
Fair enough.
I use a full choke. There's guys that use modified because I mean you're not taking long range. If you're hunting in the timber and you're doing it right, like you're supposed to, like you want to do, you're shooting a modified choke. I mean that's what you're shooting, or a full choke because the ducks are in your face. You don't need an extra full. You don't need BB shot. You know what I mean? You just need to do some number 2s, number 3s. That larger shot size. And a modified full choke. And a lot of guys 20 gauge. I mean, that's 12 gauge, I love my 12 gauge, but a 20 gauge is plenty. You know what I mean?
Right. And that's just the that when you talking about the gauge 12 and 20, obviously that's the caliber, but for like the chokes and stuff, that's basically the constriction. So if you got a full choke, the shot is going to come out and it's basically going to be constricted. It's almost to the point where it's shooting like a slug, depending on how close you are. When you say modified, it opens it up so you get more of those pellets on the target. So it gives you a little bit, almost like in bow hunting when you talk about forgiveness. If you shoot like a modified choke, it gives you almost like a little bit of forgiveness because that pattern is a little bit wider. So you'll more likely to get, more. You have a wider range to put the pellets on the bird. You don't have to be as precise per se. So, but no, I know for geese, I've always been a full choke guy just because those birds are so freaking hefty, and you need the knockdown power. But that's amazing. Now, what's in those flooded tips, like you said, oaks and stuff? So what are they coming down for, like acorns and stuff like that?
Acorns, I mean, it's just all different stuff. Like those ducks, they'll come in there to rest. They'll come in there to feed. Mm-hmm. I mean, they're that timber, especially because, all right, so for people that don't know, ducks start in the prime duck hunt starts in Canada. Right. And as it gets colder towards the winter, they migrate down. And we're in the flyway. Right. And so they come down to Arkansas. And by the time they get to Arkansas, they seen everybody, grandma, grandpa, uncle, and granny, call at them, shoot at them.
All kind of spread. It's so funny. I forgot about that part because that was the thing that cracked me up. But when you think about it, you're right. Like, okay, so you start all the way in Canada. You come down the flyway. Like you say, they've heard every call, they've seen every decoy, they've seen every spread, every way that you set spreads and stuff. So by the time they get here, like you said, they've seen it all, heard it all. It's like either we're going to go here and feed or we're going to go here. This is where we're going to go. What you doing might have some effect, but for the most part, they're going to go where they want to go regardless.
Yeah. Because like I said, by the time they get to us, they've been exposed like you. And so that to me, when you say you're a successful Arkansas public land hunter,
right?
You saying that, man, you can call, you know your stuff, you know where ducks are, and if you can do it consistently, you know what I mean?
Right.
And so that's what you're doing when they get to Arkansas. I mean, those ducks they're not dumb when they get to us by no means. You go north, you get up there towards like Canada, them ducks are a little dumb up there. They ain't, they've been chilling.
Right.
So
the public land, especially in the timber and stuff, is it just naturally flooded? Are they controlling it like they do with like a lot of the fields? Because I know a lot of the fields are like some of it is natural, and then a lot of it is like based on irrigation and stuff like that. How is it in the timber?
So there's a couple different things, okay, and that's one of those. There's about 3 key things that play effect in duck hunting, right? It's gonna be your weather, your water, and your food source. Okay,
Right.
That's just like deer hunting or turkey hunting or whatever. Water, food, and weather. So for ducks, when you go talking about timber hunting, one of the number one things is gonna be water levels. Okay, because in Arkansas we like to hunt knee deep to ankle deep water.
Mm-hmm.
The way we hunt, anything over knee deep is too deep for timber, honestly.
Okay.
And so when you look at the water levels, the first of the year, most time our timber's not flooding because they try to let it naturally flood, and they got on a kick now where they're saying that, but when they were like artificially flooding it a lot, that it was killing the trees and all this junk. And so they're not putting the boards in the late now. So a lot we're relying on the weather to get enough rain to flood the woods, to get the river levels up, to dump water into the woods to actually flood it.
Okay.
And so once the woods get flooded, that makes the acorns start floating. And that's what gets those ducks in the woods, because they're like, there's fresh food. It's not the corn. It's not the rice.
Right.
So now they can be hidden in the woods and get to eat. You know what I'm saying? So because they feel protected when they're in those woods.
Gotcha.
As opposed to in that field, they're kind of in the wide open.
Gotcha. Now,
because like I said, they've seen it all when they come from up north. They've been shot at, so that feels protected.
Yeah, and obviously I know you said it's weather-based, but if it's right, is it more so better early season for flooded timber than, say, like later on? Or is it just, it's completely like hit or miss, like just depends on whatever the weather?
It's like, it's hit or miss. Weather has a lot to do with it. But for me, when ducks first get here, they don't immediately they don't just jump in the woods. Like when they get here, they're not straight to the woods. What they do is when they get here, most of the time, if you come down in Arkansas season, you ride public land, you ride in the Cache, the White River and stuff, you can always tell when new ducks have just gotten here, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Because when you ride in the river, they'll be sitting in the river channel, the main channel.
Okay.
And that's not what they do. When the ducks first get here, if you're not hunting, you ride the river channel. If you see ducks just sitting in the river, like a bunch of ducks sitting in the river, that's how you know you got a new push of birds, because they haven't found the woods or where they want to be at yet.
Gotcha.
They just stopped. They came in, they just stopped. And so they're sitting there in the river, chilling, because they're tired. They flew in thousands of miles probably.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so they sit in the woods. And so that's a good sign. If you see a bunch of birds sitting in the river, you're like, well, I need to be in this area because these birds just got here. So they're going to be a little dumber than the ones that have been here for a week now. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so that's a big determinant. Another way for people that don't know, when you kill a duck in the woods or in anywhere, if that duck has really, really bright orange feet, that means a new duck. That means he just migrated in to his area.
Huh. Okay.
So if you kill a duck with dark feet, real dark orange feet,
yeah,
that's a stale duck. That means he's been there for a while.
Huh. Okay.
And so that's another way we tell. So if we get a group of ducks and they do it right, and they just circle one time and they fall in the hole and you shoot them, you got bright orange feet, you're like, yeah, that's a new duck. That's why he did that.
Gotcha.
Because a stale duck is going to sit up there and you might call at him for 10, 15 minutes. He's going to be up there just circling because he done seen it. You know what I mean?
Right.
He wants to get in there, but he going to sit there and check it out. And I don't know about that down there.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. And you basically, when you're in that water, what are you using, or in that timber rather, what are you using for cover? You just basically hugged up against a tree and trying to blend in?
Yeah, you hugging that tree. You're looking down, you're kicking a little water. You got your jerk rig running. So if people don't know what jerk rig is, you got your decoys out. You tie a string on about 3 or 4 decoys with a weight on the end. And you got one person sitting there, they pulling it, getting that water ripple. make it look like giving those decoys a realistic effect, because you don't want the water sitting dead still and decoys just sitting there, because ducks are smart.
Right.
They just see dead water. They're like, well, that's not real. So you're pulling that jerk rig to put off waves to make it look like those ducks are moving around and having a little action.
Gotcha.
And you're kicking the water. When you kick the water, it sounds like ducks are landing or they're feeding. Because the duck feeding, he's sitting on water, he'll get up, he'll like flap his wings and he'll make the water shake and he'll be bobbing up and down, like going down there grabbing stuff and eating. And so, that's what you're doing. You're hugging that tree because, ducks, like I said, they pick out stuff. And so like a lot of guys, they'll put a little face paint on if they're like their face is real bright. Because those ducks, they see anything particular. They're like a turkey. They're not coming in if they see something they don't like.
Right.
And you can tell because the ducks will be coming down and they'll flare real quick, like like that.
Yep.
When you hear that, it's over with.
Yep.
They flared.
No,
that's one of your determinants.
Unfortunately, I've seen that because I've flared my share of ducks in my time. So,
and I feel like a lot of people when they first go duck hunting, and like you like tell them like, man, you got to look down, you can't move, they're right on top of you, and then they see you moving, they're like, why are you moving? It's like, well, I know when I can move. I can look at the duck and be like, all right, I'm good now. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's one of those factors. There's so much that people don't realize that goes into duck hunting. It's not just show up and let's kill a duck. There's 100 things that go into making you be successful on that hunt.
No.
And you can talk about it. There's so many, like you can talk on for hours to explain it. You know what I mean?
Right. No, it is because when I got into it, obviously in the YouTube age that we live in, I started looking at a lot of YouTube videos and just kind of, looking at the different calls and then just the different, thought process. And then when I go, I'm always picking the guy's brain and just trying to figure out, it's like, okay, why did you set it up this way? Why did you set up, just trying to be a sponge, trying to soak up everything. And for somebody that's done it, for so long and do it, so often, like with your calling and stuff, are you still at a point where you practicing calls like in the off season, or you do it the first time you pick up your call is like, opening day, and just because you've been doing it, you kind of got it down?
Yeah, for me, like I might pick up a call just because I see it laying around the house or something. I'm like, oh man, I miss it. I'll pick it up. But now it's like, to be honest, I really don't practice. It's like when I went to Oklahoma, I hadn't picked up a duck call. I didn't have anything ready. It's just kind of one of those things. Like once you learn how to do it, and you do it so much, it's just naturally like you're good to go. Like I can pick up any duck call and blow it.
Right.
And you can blow it. I blow a cut down, and there's two kind of duck calls. There's a J frame and a cut down. A cut down takes a lot more air. It's more like a timber call. It's a lot of using a timber. A J frame is more of a quiet, more finesse type call. But like I said, Arkansas public land, you got to get down with them. You know what I'm saying? That cut down, you got to be out there screaming, because if the guys in the hole next to you got 10 cut downs rolling, and you only got one call, they're gonna call the ducks off of you because they sound like a group of ducks.
Gotcha. Right. So, whereas you only sound like one. Yep. I got you.
One lone duck with. And so, like, that's another thing. You gotta, when you get into duck hunting, you're doing the duck hunting, you gotta learn what kind of calls to hit at certain ducks. If you're going the first thing in the morning and you hitting those ducks real hard, you screaming at them, you being real loud, like, wah, 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 hit them real hard, and they're not liking that. You got to be able to adjust and know, like, okay, let's wait. It's mid-January. All we need to do is feed at them, give them that like when the duck's feeding, because they don't want that hard quack. They're just looking for some ducks. Like a group of ducks is down there feeding, just chilling. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so that's one of those things you just got to, it's one of those things you learn early in the season. Yeah, you can hit those ducks real hard. They're new, they're fresh. You can hit them hard. You can wah. They want that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But as you migrate later in season, you got to start realizing, like, hey, let me ease off of it. Let them just do their thing and kind of just give them a little, hey, I'm here. Let me come down there and check it out and see what's going on.
Right. Nice and easy.
Yeah, man.
Now, do you call competitively? Like, do you?
Man, I never got into the competitive calling. I just like to hunt, honestly.
Because from what I understand, it's kind of like, even with competitive, like any kind of competitive calling, whether it's turkeys or ducks, like it's almost like baseball. Like you go, you got your swing, you hit a curve, hit a slider, hit a fastball, whatever. But then you go to the home run derby, and it can mess your swing up because you're almost swinging completely differently because you're trying to hit the home runs. Same type of theory from what I understand calling competitively for ducks and turkeys. It's a little bit different, and you doing things differently than you would in a realistic hunt situation. Is that pretty much true, or?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much true because there's two calling contests. They have like a meat calling contest, which is actually like how you would hunt.
Mm-hmm.
And there's like the competition call, which is like the world famous one they have in Stuttgart every year.
Right.
The world championship. And so that what you're doing in that competition call that, everybody loves, like Antonio Jones or Spencer Halford or, Devlin Hodges, all what they were doing, the competition call, there's just some guys, big name guys.
Yep.
So like the competition call is not what you take out and do in the woods or in the field. I mean, that's hail calling. You're not going out there calling ducks hail calling. What a hail call is basically like if the ducks are way out there, you're just trying to get their attention. It's like a wee, 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 like that. I can't do it obviously, but if you're on a call, that's what you're doing. You wouldn't do that in the woods. I mean, and that's a misconception that guys that come in that never duck hunt, you can always tell. We always make jokes. We call them oozers, out of staters. When they come in, you can tell. You can tell because they'll be out there hill calling. You're like, dude, what are you doing? It's like, come on, man. And that's not what you do when you're out there. You're not hill calling. You're meat calling. You're feed calling. Give them a little quack. You're doing a bouncing hen, like a hen sitting on the water. You're like, you just give them like something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's different. A competition call is not anything what you're gonna do in the woods.
Gotcha. Now before I get you out of here, I got one more for you.
Okay.
I know you got a dog, right?
Yeah, man, that's my baby girl. I love her.
Tell us about your dog and give your dog some love. What's her name?
Her name is Bella Grace Moore. That's what she got a full name. She's like a human. Don't say her name wrong. She'll look at you crazy, just like a good old woman.
Now, how long have you had her?
Man, she is fixing to be 5, and I'm gonna be honest with you, man. She is what made a name for me in the duck hunting world. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Okay.
I'm gonna tell you the story about this dog, how I got her real quick. So Bella she's fixing me. This will be her 5th season. She's fixing to turn 5. I got her my freshman year of college. And so, I was still young to the duck hunting game. I've been doing it for 4 years then, 3 or 4 years by then.
Okay.
And so I was like, man, I'm giving me a duck dog because, I mean, I feel like everybody that's like a consistent duck hunter needs their own dog.
Sure. Yep.
And so, man, I had $120 in my bank account. That's all I had, freshman year. Just came from college. I'm just starting my summer job. I had $120. And somebody put on Facebook that they had some labs for sale. My dog doesn't have papers. People are all crazy that a dog can only be good if it has papers. And I'm a firm believer that is not true. And I proved it. And
right.
So, man, I had $120 for my name. The dude was wanting $150. Or he actually started off at like $250 for him. And then he was like $150. He had a few left. And I was like, being a college kid, you'll risk anything to get something,
right.
And so I hit him. I got his number off Facebook and I called him. And I said, man, look, I told him, I got $120 in my name. I said, I had a 454-89 with a 454. It's a big engine, it's a gas guzzler. I said, man, I can put $10 in my truck and I got $100 put on a dog and they give me $10 to get some food to come get the dog. I told him straight up, that's all I got, man. I said, man, if you want, I can work out some, I'm just starting my summer job and I can pay you out the rest of the $50 or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
He's like, man, honestly, I just want to get rid of them. So, bring me $100 and, I'll meet you at the store in Locust. We'll buy his little town outside of Camden.
Yep.
So me and my cousin, Zach, we load up. I literally put $10 in my truck. We get 2 pizzas from the store and 2 drinks and we drive, that's all we got. $10, make it there and back. And so we drive and I meet him and he has 3 females, labs, black labs. And, there's 2 that are being really hyper. And this one, the one I got, Bella, she was just sitting there and she looked me in the eyes, man, I swear. And I was like, that's the dog I need. Like, I don't know what it was, but it was like, that is the dog I want. He's like, you don't want these 2? They're like, active. You're like, she's kind of like the runt. She's just really chill. And I was like, no, man, I want that one right there. It's like, I just knew that she was the dog. And, I got her and, I was happy. I put her on Facebook, all that. And guys were like, calling me like, man, that, you always got your haters no matter what you do.
Right.
And they were like, man, she's not going to make a duck dog. What kind of paper she got and all this? And I'm like, dude, she's not. She ain't got none. She going to be a duck dog. I promise y'all, because when I put my mind to something, I'm going to make it. I'm going to make something shake. That's what I always say. I'm going to make something shake. And I got her. And, dude, she's the best puppy ever. I literally put her on the ground as soon as I got her, and she ran straight up and just rolled around in the mud puddle. And I'm like, oh, she gonna be it. That's the dog. The first thing with a duck dog is making her love water, right?
Right.
And so, all summer long, every day, I get off work. I go to work 6:30, get off 5:30, work 4:10s, and I take her down to the lake, and I'm working her bumpers. I take her to Mr. Todd King. He let me use his pond, and we'd use his pond, and I would train her. I was just working her. She never whined in the kennel. She got potty trained. I got the dog at 6 weeks, about 8 weeks old. She was kennel trained. Would not use the bathroom in her kennel, nothing like that. Didn't whimper. She'd go to the bathroom. She knew to get in her kennel. She'd place. She stayed, So it's like, man, that's crazy for a dog that young. And so it comes down to that first season, and she's 7 months old. People are like, dude, she's too young. You don't need to take her hunting. She's too young. And in my mind, I'm like, dude, I know this dog. Like, I've been working with her all summer. Like, nobody's got to go hunt with me. I'll go by myself. You know what I mean?
Right.
I ain't tripping. And if y'all too scared to take a dog. And so me and my buddy Dylan Newkirk, he's like, man, we go to my fields and we'll just put her something easy. So I'm like, all right, that's cool, bro. And so we go, and it's me and him and one other guy. And man, her first hunt, 7 months old, never been on it. He had his old dog Gage, and Gage picked up the first ducks. I wanted her to watch, and really see what it was about. Her first hunt at 7 months old, she picked up 16 birds, and that's unreal for a 7-month-old dog. She ran 3 doubles that day. So that's, if people that know, she went and got one bird, came back, and I sent her right back for the other.
Yep.
She ran 3 doubles. She ran some singles, all that. And at 7 months old, and she picks up 16 birds, we look at each other and like, this dog is literally the truth. And that season, man, I was in college, so, I was obviously skipping class to hunt. I hunted. Me and that dog, we hunted in Arkansas, the duck season, 60 days. We hunted every single day, 60 days straight, rain, snow, anything, brutal storms. It didn't matter. We went every single day. And there's probably about 10 or 15 days I couldn't find a soul to go with me. It'd be me and her. We drive 2 hours, we shoot our limited ducks, and we come back. And I go to my evening classes.
Wow.
And that's that first season. She picked up 950 birds, which is a ton of ducks for a not even 1-year-old puppy, 1-year-old dog, And there was one guy I went hunting with, this older guy. He offered me $5,000 on the spot for this $100 dog. And I was like, man, you can't buy her. You ain't got enough money in your pocket, And so the next season rolled around. Everybody knows his dogs. I'm putting her on social media, and they're watching her work. And everybody that hunts with me knows that. I feel like Bella has more dads than she does ducks. Everybody wants to claim her.
Right.
And she's a big baby. I'm talking to, she gets up, she just lays in your lap. She rolls over on her belly. She just sits there. She gets this is our routine. I know we're getting close to time. And
no, you
her
good.
Routine there. We hunt, and every morning she knows about 9 o'clock. There's a honey bun in my backpack that's hers. Like, that's our thing. We both get a honey bun every morning. I know people say it's not good for her, but that's her thing. She has to have her honey bun or she can't hunt. And she knows. She'll start looking at the bag. I'm telling you, she looks at the bag when it's time for her to get her honey bun. And we get her honey bun. And like last season, man, I didn't get to hunt as much. I had a wreck the first of the year coming from duck hunting. And so we were both at the game there for a couple weeks. But for like 3 years straight, the first 3 years I had that dog, we hunted 60 days, 57 days, and 60. And for people who don't know, that's a lot. That's a lot on your body.
Yeah,
that's waking up. That's no duck camp. Ooh. That's us waking up, leaving. I'd sleep in my house, my rent house in college.
Yeah.
And we wake up, we leave the house at 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock in the morning. We drive 2 hours over to wherever we're going hunting. Didn't have a boat,
right.
at the time. And so we're having to walk in a mile and a half. My buddy Deontay, I love him to death. Me and him would ride together with Bella. We pull up to the walk-in spot. 4 o'clock, we walk a mile and a half, 2 miles in, sit out there. We kill our limited ducks. We walk all the way back the mile and a half out with the dog, carrying a dog stag. We carry a dog stand, backpack, 2 shotgun, some snacks, and a dozen decoys for 2 miles every day. We'd do that just to kill the ducks and put that dog in some birds, and we walk back out, haul butt, all the way back to Conway, 2 hours, go to class, go home and sleep, and do it all again.
Do it all again. Golly.
And, I mean, people know, you see us. I mean, we were gone every single day, and we killed our fair share of birds. And, man, I feel like that dog really put the hunter in me, because it was like she was giving me so much every time we go out. It makes me almost want to tear up, because I know it's getting towards the end of her hunting career. She's getting 5,
right.
5, 6, you start getting ready to retire them. And she would literally give me so much. It's like, it didn't matter if it was snowing. It didn't matter if we weren't a burden around. She never gives up. Like, she just sitting there, eyes to the sky. I mean, there's been times we'll be sitting there just messing around, talking, and she'll start whimpering because ducks are sitting in our decoys and we're not even paying attention.
Like, what are y'all doing?
And it's just awesome, because like, it's like she picked up so much natural that it was like, I really didn't have to teach her so much. Like, I trained her every day,
right.
But she's so natural that, like, I just got blessed. And it's like that dog, hear people talk about, like, you're blessed with one dog a lifetime that you can never replace. And I feel like I've already gotten that dog, and it makes me sad, because one day I plan on having some kids,
right.
And I'll be telling this story about this great dog I had, and to know that they'll never get to see that great dog and be able to, I mean, they are, because I'm get videos, obviously, but they'll never be able to experience and hunt with this dog that made me the duck hunter that I am. You know what I mean?
Man. Because
a lot of guys that I've gotten invited in on hunts, it's because they know I had this stellar dog. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And she's just so mild-mannered. And like I said, last year she probably picked up, I don't know, probably 600-700 birds at least. The year before that, I kept track. She picked over 2,000 ducks and geese. And then the year before that, it was another 1,400. And then that first season, I think it was like $13 or $1,400 ducks that first season. And so she has these every year where she just grinds it out. And I hit her with a side-by-side her first year going out in the field. She ran out in front of it and clipped her leg. And man, she has a problem like late in season, actually getting older, where I hit her with that side-by-side.
Mm-hmm.
And dude, it doesn't matter, because you literally cannot leave this dog at the door. She sits at the door, like during duck season, when she knows you wakes up, you can't leave her. Like, you can't, no, I don't care. You can look her in her eyes and she will not let you leave her. And she'll go out there and she'll be limping out there picking up the ducks, but she will go and just drive and drive and drive. And it's just a once in a lifetime dog. You know what I mean?
Right. Golly.
And I feel like
that's amazing.
Yeah. It's like, literally, dude, like, she rides in the front seat with me. She sits in the front seat of the truck. Like, somebody get in the truck and she gonna look at you for 10 minutes before she gonna go to the back seat. Like, you gonna really put me out my seat to go duck hunt with my dad?
Oh man, that is awesome, man.
And so, man, I just got blessed with a really, really great dog. And I'm not gonna lie to you, with the day that I gotta put her down or get rid of her will be the worst week of my life. I honestly think that the season after that I had to put her down or get rid of her, and she can't, and I lose her, will be the first season that I probably won't hunt but maybe 5 days, just because I know that it won't be the same. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because she's pretty much she's pretty much been there my whole duck hunting career.
Right.
From the start. When I didn't have hardly any buddies, I didn't know much about public land. All my learning curves, this dog was there and doing it with me. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so when it gets there, it's like losing a family relative. I mean, it is. I mean, my mom didn't really like dogs, and my mom now will actually pet and hang out with dogs and let Bella come in the house. That's a big no-no. You know what it's like.
Right. Exactly.
There's a big no-no. Ain't no dog coming in the house. It's like it bonded. She bonded, like my mom, like, where's Bella? What's Bella doing? Where's my granddog?
Where's my
and
granddog?
So and like my girlfriend, we've been dating for 3 years, and that's a lot on her because I'm always going hunting.
Right.
And so I have so much respect for her. And like, she's worried about the dog. Her mom is worried about, where's Bella? How's Bella doing? Her grandma, where's Bella? How's Bella doing? So it's really cool how many lives Bella affects. My nephews, my sister kids.
Right.
They call me. They ain't worried about me. Where's Bella? Or my aunt's little daughter, my cousin. Where's Bella? I want to talk to Bella. FaceTime me. I want to see Bella, And she's just that dog that she's so mild-mannered that when a kid walks up to her, like, she just lays down. A baby. It can be a newborn baby. You set the baby on the ground, and Bella just going to crawl up to it. And I used to have a puppy. Last story, and I swear I'm done. I used to have a puppy, and this was the coolest moment that I had with this dog probably in all our duck hunting trips. And I had a puppy that I just had gotten, and I was going to try to train him, but I just didn't have the time, so I gave it to one of my buddies. And the dog got out way in front of me, walking. And Bella, she's not the mom of this dog or nothing. She runs up because I'm trying to get the puppy up and I'm trying to talk to somebody, and she runs up and she like picks this puppy up. The puppy done ran like 50 or 100 yards out in front of me. I'm trying to get the puppy back and talk to this person. She runs and picks this puppy up and brings it back and drops it next to my feet. And like, I was like, did she really just do that? And it was at that moment that I knew that I really, really had a special, special dog.
Wow.
You know what I mean? To just have that instinct and hear me try and get the puppy back and to go out there and pick that dog up and literally bring it and set it back in my feet. And then the dog did it again. The puppy, a puppy, it went back out there again, and she goes back and picks it up and brings it back. Man. And it's just like, she's a dog that I want you to come to Arkansas, get in the timber with me, and just see her work. Because people don't believe me when I say I paid $100 for this dog. They're like, there's no way.
Right. It's like you got to see it. You got to see it firsthand for yourself.
Yes.
Man, that's what's up. Well, I tell you what, we will get together. We'll figure it out. I'll figure it out on my end, and we'll let me know when you go. And if you got some time during the week, I will take that drive to Arkansas because it'll definitely be a lot easier to take it from Georgia than it would be from Milwaukee the last 2 years when I took it. So
yeah, for sure. Like I said, my buddy Renard, he comes up every weekend, so he knows that Georgia drive like the back of his head.
Wow, man.
Yeah. So.
Well, before you get out of here, let the people know where they can find you. Hit me with all your social media and everything.
Man, on Instagram it's dmoore23_. Facebook is just Darryl Moore, Darryl Moore. If you want to check my fishing page out, it's Darryl Moore Fishing on Facebook. I got a bunch of followers on there. Snapchat is MoneyD_23. I'm on Snapchat a lot. I love Snapchat. And pretty much though, Instagram's like my main thing. I do have a YouTube that we're really focused on working on. It's just D Moore Fishing. And it's D Moore Fishing, but I'm gonna have a lot of hunting stuff on there. And but yeah, really check me out on Instagram, man. I want to just give a shout out to all the companies I work with real quick.
Sure.
Drake Waterfowl, because they've been literally since day one, they've taken a chance on me. Mossy Oak, they helped me out big time. And Bart over at Drake and David, all those good guys. On my fishing side, Z-Man, Favorite Rods, TH Marine. There's so many people that help me out. And so I just want to thank all of them and my family and just everybody that helps me and supports me in everything I do, because they know that for me, I put God first in everything I do. And I always feel like that, that God blessed me with the abilities to always be able to kill birds, to be able to kill deer, to be able to help others and be able to fish. And for me personally, that's my end goal. Even though I want to be professional and competitively do stuff, I try to help as many people out. And that's why I want to really focus my YouTube on, is helping people out, teach people how I do my duck hunt, how I do my fish, So to me, I feel like that's something God's given me, and I could talk all day. That's what people tell me when I go somewhere. I literally can talk to anybody. And so if anybody wants to talk to me, I just like you, just hit me up, man. I'm always down to talk. If you need help, if you come to Arkansas and you want to hunt, I don't guide right now because you can't really guide public land, but it's always an open book for anybody that hits me up. If you want to get experienced Arkansas timber, that I'm willing, I'll show you my spots because it's public land,
Right.
I don't care about that. I just like the fellowship. I like to meet people, learn about people, and I go to church. I play for a church, the piano on Sundays when I'm down. I get a chance to. But I feel like for me, my fellowship, is out there in the woods. I'm not the perfect Christian. I'm not the perfect person in the world, but I feel like my fellowship actually happens in the woods. That's where I make my connections. And so I feel like God's given me that ability. And that's more about me, but that's a later discussion for something else.
Well, how about it? We'll get you back on and we'll figure out something. And then when I come down there to Arkansas, then we'll record another podcast when we're down there.
That sounds like a winner, man, because I want us to do it again for sure.
Man, I sure appreciate your time, Darryl. Thank you again, and I'll holler at you soon, bro.
All right, sounds good, man.
All right, now.
Bryantland.
All right, one more time, I want to give a big shout out to Darryl Moore and thank him for joining me on this week's show. I hope you guys enjoyed listening to that as much as I enjoyed talking to that young fella. Like I said, he's out here. He's making a name for himself in the outdoor industry, and we wish him all the success in the world and hope that he'll be able to have a long career out here in this here outdoor business. Now, for you guys, I want to just remind you of a couple things. Number one, we got a giveaway this month. All you got to do is go to our Instagram @OfficialBryantLand, share the stories that we are posting about the podcast. Every time you share a story, you're going to be entered to win one of these $25 Visa gift cards. We're giving those away every week. Drawing will be on Sundays. Make sure you check in the @OfficialBryantLand Instagram. Like I said, all you got to do, go to the Instagram, share our story, let people know about our podcast, and that way you'll be entered to win one of these gift cards. Duck season starting, the rut's getting ready to pop off. If it hasn't already in the area where you're at, $25 can get you in on getting some scents, can get you some supplies for duck hunting. Man, anything you can think of, go to your local mom and pop, go to your big box store, wherever you want to go and spend that money. So make sure you enter into our contest. Second thing I want to remind you guys about, of course, BryantLandCountry.com, our website, BryantLandCountry.com. One-stop shopping for everything Bryant Land. We're going to have a big sale coming up on our merchandise coming up here pretty soon. Make sure you're checking for that. And then just make sure you're checking out the page. We got our videos. We got all our podcasts. BryantLandCountry.com. One-stop shopping for everything Bryant Land. As always, we appreciate y'all and thank y'all for supporting the brand, supporting the podcast. I'm going to get ready to get up out of here, and I'll catch you guys next week on another episode of the Bryant Land Country Podcast.
Thanks for listening to the Bryant Land Country Podcast, hosted by AB3. Please leave us a positive review and 5-star rating on iTunes. Be sure to check out our podcast section on our website, BryantLandCountry.com, for previous podcasts. Check us out on Instagram @OfficialBryantLand and Twitter @3BryantLand. This has been an AB3 Media production. Join us next time for another edition of the Bryant Land Country Podcast.